Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for clicking on this Rank the Movies video. Well, we're still in Bondathon. We've covered Sean Connery, we've covered George Lazenby, and now we move on to Roger Moore, the man who's done the most James Bond films, with credits including Live and Let Die. He's got The Man with the Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, and A View to a Kill. This man has the most Bond credits out of any Bond. So George Lazenby did the role of James Bond. Not a lot of people liked it because On Her Majesty's Secret Service is kind of a weak movie. Sean Connery came back to do Diamonds Are Forever, and then departed the role once again, and Roger Moore was given the mantle of James Bond. I gotta admit, I like a lot of Moore's movies. I also don't like a lot of Moore's movies. As the fact is, Live and Let Die isn't bad. From what I remember, it wasn't a bad movie. The Man with the Golden Gun is a great movie. I really do enjoy that one. The Spy Who Loved Me, I hate. Moonraker is what we're talking about today. For Your Eyes Only isn't a terrible movie. Octopussy is the one most people will go with for the best Roger Moore movie. I thought it was decent, and I do enjoy A View to a Kill, although he is a little old in it. But again, we are talking Moonraker! This one does not have a great title song to it. There is no great Moonraker title song. But yeah, Moonraker is my choice as my favorite Roger Moore James Bond film. And that's just it. It just is. It is. Like, I do like A View to a Kill, and I like The Man with the Golden Gun. I think they're both really good movies, and they have superbly better villains with Christopher Walken and Christopher Lee as the villains in them. I've always liked Moonraker. I always have. When I went, what's my favorite Roger Moore movie? And immediately popped in my head, Moonraker. Moonraker is my favorite Roger Moore movie. So that's what I did, and I rewatched Moonraker. And it is still a really good movie. I haven't watched it in a long time. You have to be in the right mindset to watch a Bond movie, especially if it's not your favorite Bond. Like, your favorite Bond, if you're a big Connery Bond fan, those are going to be the ones you go to. That's your go-to Bond. And those are the movies you're going to want to watch over and over again. And I really do think there is a point of, like, who did you grow up with as James Bond? Who introduced you to Bond? And that's really going to help. Because it could be one of the early Bonds, even in today's age. Like, if you're just flipping through the channels and you all of a sudden catch Dr. No, and that makes you want to watch the rest of the Bond movies, you're probably going to be a Connery Bond. If you first saw Moonraker or one of the other Roger Moore movies, you're probably a Moore Bond as your favorite. I don't think a lot of people have Timothy Dalton or George Lazenby as their favorite Bond, just because, you know, together they make 3 movies, which is less than any other single Bond has made. And we'll get to Timothy Dalton next week. But this week we're talking Moonraker. We open with the stealing of a Moonraker shuttle. That's right, right away. Like, right away, it's right there. Like, the title of the movie is right there. Moonraker. Which is good, I guess. You know, Goldfinger is the villain's last name. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is a term they say a lot in that movie. Moonraker is literally the name of the shuttle. Moonraker takes off, it blows up. The airplane it is being carried on and is stolen. James Bond is sent to investigate, so he goes to California to Drax Industries to investigate where the Moonraker shuttle came from. He meets Drax, who is the villain. Very obvious. Like, this dude looks like a villain. Like, it is one of those, oh, he's the villain. He's definitely the villain. And they don't try to hide it either. They go, we dress this guy like the villain. We're going to lean into it. Drax immediately, after the first talk with Bond, looks at one of his stooges and goes, make sure he has an accident. Like, he tells Drax, just kill him. Kill him. Just kill him. Okay, we're not even going to try to, like, play with this. You meet Bond's initial love interest, who is his helicopter pilot, who he will eventually seduce. But he's got to meet Holly Goodhead first, which is my second favorite name in all Bond films, after Pussy Galore, is Holly Goodhead. Because again, like Ian Fleming, like, he must have wrote it, Dr. Holly Goodhead. Yes, Ian, yes, you've done well today. wrote that one. So he meets Holly Goodhead. He gets taken to a simulator room for G-Force, and he's strapped in. The henchman goes up and starts cranking up the G-Force and turns off the chicken switch and starts cranking it up, and Bond survives. He then seduces the helicopter pilot, who eventually shows him where Drax keeps his safe, where Bond learns information. I'm not 100% sure what information Bond learns from the safe. All I know is that his love interest is then fired by Drax and mauled by dogs. Because that's what happens when you get fired. You get mauled by dogs. And so she's dead. So now all we got is Holly Goodhead. Bond begins to investigate a glass-blowing company where he murders Drax's stooge in a fight and finds out Holly Goodhead is actually CIA. They decide not to work together right then, but eventually they will. Drax, now without a henchman, decides to hire a new one, so he hires Jaws. This is Jaws' second movie after The Spy Who Loved Me. I like Jaws. I think he's a pretty good henchman. For all he is. Richard Kyle does a great job as Jaws, and eventually he gets dialogue, which is cool. Bond then goes to investigate another part of the Drax Empire, where he is given an escort from the local government from where he is, which I believe is somewhere in, my brain is not liking me right this second. But he gets an escort, she's hot, they have sex. Jaws eventually attacks, isn't able to hurt anyone before Bond escapes with his friend, just learning that Drax has a space program, which you kind of already know because Drax is training astronauts. It is mentioned earlier in the movie that Drax is training astronauts, so it's kind of known, but he just finds more information on the space program. He then realigns with Holly and they decide to work together. They get attacked again by Jaws. There's a fight scene. That ends, and Jaws meets for being like a 7-foot giant is what Jaws is. Richard Kyle might be taller than that. He meets like a 5'0" blonde girl, petite blonde girl with pigtails. It's really sweet. And he goes off to be in love with her. Bond is then captured by Drax. Doesn't die again after a snake attack. Drax decides, he's finally lays out his plan. Because Bond won't die in any of the colorful ways he's plotted for him. You are the worst murderer ever, Drax. You keep trying to kill him, and every time it fails. Just shoot him. Just tell Jaws to shoot him. I feel like Scott Evil here in Austin Powers. So anyways, Drax basically says he is launching people into space. Actually, no, I'm a little early on Drax's big, what is his plan? Drax decides to kill Bond and Holly Goodhead by putting them under one of the Moonrakers he is launching. And they'll be burned up. They escape. Bond and Holly knock out 2 of the pilots and steal one of the shuttles to find out what Drax is doing. They eventually find a giant space station, and that their shuttle is filled with couples. 2 by 2 into the Ark, because Drax is creating a master race. Basically, he is going to destroy the human race on Earth with a nerve gas that only affects humans. That's what Bond found in random country, I can't remember. He found the nerve gas. So Bond is going to kill the humanity with the nerve gas, and then create a new perfect race up in space, and then send them back to Earth to repopulate and make it the great Earth that it can be. That is Drax's master plan. Of course, Bond and Holly Goodhead foil it, with Bond just basically telling Jaws, I'm getting ahead of myself. First, they turn off the radar jammer that Drax has up on his space station, so it can actually be seen from radars. Then, they're captured as a platoon of space soldiers? A platoon of space soldiers make their way to the space station, because I didn't realize we could launch shuttles that quickly. That is a quick response. It's oh, there's a weird thing up in space. We should go check it out. Prepare the space army. I guess they're Space Marines. Prepare the Space Marines and their space shuttle. All right, it's already on the launch pad, sir. We're ready to go. Like, that's what it feels like. So Bond uses Drax's own words to make Jaws realize that if you don't fit his perfect specimens and all that, that they're going to be eliminated, which means Jaws and his petite love interest are probably going to be expendable just as soon as Bond is dead. So Jaws changes sides and begins to assist Bond and Holly Goodhead. The Space Marines show up, there's a big space battle with lasers, and there's a battle inside, and Drax is defeated by being shot out an airlock. But unfortunately, he already launched 3 of his nerve gas balls probes, so they have to go destroy it. But luckily, Drax's Moonraker shuttle was equipped with a laser beam, so they hop inside and fly it. Oh, and Holly Goodhead is astronaut. She is a trained astronaut. This is brought up way earlier in the movie. Like on her first introduction, it is brought up so she could fly the damn thing. So they fly after Drax's death pods, and they blow him up with the laser that's on the thing. They need help from Jaws to get the shuttle off because he finds his girl, but there's no escape for them. So they help, and they survive by going down in a piece of debris that doesn't burn up and doesn't get so hot it cooks them. Because they're only 100 miles from the surface, or 100 miles from Earth. I can't remember. It's 100 miles. That is the statement that is made. So Drax is dead. Why am I talking about Drax? So Bond and Holly celebrate with zero gravity sex. That's how this movie ends. They celebrate with zero gravity sex, and there's a camera and it's looking at them as they're sitting there floating with a sheet over them, and Bond's preparing for re-entry. Ha ha ha, sex! So that's how Moonraker ends. It's not a great movie upon a rewatch. It's still a lot of fun. I like it. Maybe I should have done Man with the Golden Gun or A View to a Kill, but you know what? I chose Moonraker, and I'm sticking with it. It is a decent Bond film. It's definitely got all the points. It doesn't drag, and it's not super long. It's 2 hours. So, it's fine. It's fine for a Bond movie. Overall, right now, Roger Moore would be the middle ground. I would still keep Connery as my favorite Bond. Then I'd go Moore. Then I'd go Lazenbeek as third. But yeah, I like Moonraker. If you've never checked it out, do so. And watch all of Roger Moore's Bond films. They're all, outside of The Spy Who Loved Me, which I really don't care for, they're all pretty decent films. Alright, so next week, we are moving right along with our Bonds to Bond number 4. It is Timothy Dalton. Now, it's been so long since I've watched Timothy Dalton's Bond films, The Living Daylights and License to Kill, that I can't actually pick one as my favorite. Because I don't remember either of them well enough to be like, oh, I like this one more than the other one. So next week, I'm just doing both of them. I'm going to talk about License to Kill. I'm going to talk about The Living Daylights. They actually released in the opposite order. And I'm going to tell you which is my favorite then, and where Dalton lines up in my Bond rankings. So tune in next week for that. Like, comment, and subscribe to make sure you don't miss any of this great content as we move through Bondathon. I am Martin Prelos. This is Rank the Movies. Have a good one. See you next time.